now comes politics, okay? I'm this Vegas odds maker. I've got nothing to do with politics. And a French business magazine does an interview with me about my career as the king of Las Vegas. That's what the media's called me, the king of Vegas. And the French magazine does a story, and it becomes the cover story of the French magazine. They send it to me in the mail as the subject of the story. It sits on my desk for 2 months because I don't speak French, right? I'm raised on the streets of the Bronx. I barely speak English. So I don't speak French, but of course I've raised this high-class daughter that's going to Harvard. She speaks French. So she comes down, sees it on the desk, and says, "Dad, did you know what they're saying about you?" I said, "No, what does it say?" She says, "It says he may be a Vegas odds maker, but we've just spent an hour talking to him on the phone, and we believe we've just met a future president of the United States." So I thought, that's interesting. Remember when the New York Mount Vernon Daily Argus said he could be the next Jimmy the Greek, and I became Jimmy the Greek? Maybe they know something. So I call up. At this point, I'm going through my metamorphosis of becoming a libertarian after being a lifelong Republican. And I literally call up the Libertarian Party's chairman, get him on the phone, again, 20 phone calls, relentless, get him on the phone, and I say, how would someone go about getting the presidential nomination of a third party like yours? And he says, well, funny that you called. Next week in Orlando, we're having our national convention, and we're having a debate with all our possible presidential candidates. Why don't you join us? I got on the plane, I flew to Orlando, didn't know a soul, never been in national politics, never been a libertarian in my life, didn't know one person there, and had no money to run a campaign. And you go, well, Wayne, you're a self-made millionaire. What do you mean you had no money? Well, see, I got the greatest wife in the world, but she's also got a lot of common sense. So she says to me, if you want to go on this crazy journey of trying to be president of the United States, a third-party candidate, go for it. You know I always back you, but you're not spending a penny of our money. So I decide I'm going to try and do this with just opinions and thoughts and nothing else, no money at all. No money spent by me, none. So I now attend 50 state conventions all over the United States, meet libertarians all over the country. Everywhere I go, they like me, but they go, come on, you got no shot. You know, we got people who have been in this party for 20 years, and we don't even know you. We're not going to vote for you. So this goes on for 5 months, 6 months, and the convention's coming up fast to determine who will be the 2008 presidential candidate. And Bob Barr announces he's getting in the race. I don't know if you know him, but he led the impeachment proceedings against Bill Clinton. He's an attorney, and he's a 4-time Republican congressman from Georgia. He announces he's running. Now Mike Gravel gets in the race, former United States Senator from Alaska, Democrat. He wants to be the Libertarian presidential nominee, and little old me, the Vegas odds maker, and then like 20 other activists who've been in the party forever. What chance do I have? None, right? So next thing you know, Reason Magazine, which is the libertarian magazine in America, decides to have a debate in Washington, D.C., and they invite the 3 people that they think are the front runners for the presidential nomination. They invite Congressman Bob Barr, Senator Mike Gravel, and Las Vegas odds maker Wayne Root. I show up in Washington. We're sitting, Bob Barr, Gravel, and me in the middle, and the Washington Post is at the debate. We debate, and when it's over, a sea of people comes up to me because I have won the debate. They're all with me. But the sea of media goes to Mike Gravel and Bob Barr. Because in Washington, D.C., they don't like the people. They don't like small businessmen. They don't like someone from Las Vegas or Wyoming or Chicago or wherever if he's a small businessman and a homeschool dad and a citizen politician. They don't think you're important, and they don't think you deserve to be a president of the United States. So they went to the congressman, the senator. The next day, I open up the Washington Post looking for the story about the debate, and the headline says, Libertarians debate for president, and I look at the picture, and it's a photo of Senator Mike Gravel, Congressman Bob Barr, and I've been whited out of the middle. I'm not even in the photo. This is the media, ladies and gentlemen. Do you realize they don't report the news, they make the news. They create the news. They create whatever agenda they want to sell, and their agenda was Wayne Root didn't exist. So now I'm more relentless than ever. I go to the convention. There was 1 week to the convention. I decided that there were going to be 1,000 delegates. I got the list, and I called all 1,000 people on the phone. Not my staff, me. Called all 1,000. Every person had the same reaction. Oh, you're calling for Wayne Root? No, I am Wayne Root. No. I'm talking to a presidential candidate? Yes, I am. And I'm calling you as a delegate because I value your vote. I get to the convention, and all anybody's talking about is, that's the guy who called me in my house. They didn't care I was running against a congressman and a senator. They understood that I cared about them, and I worried about their concerns and what's bothering them as small businessmen and women and citizens and taxpayers and voters. And so we have 6 ballots. The press is there. Nobody pays any attention to me, not one interview. And through 6 ballots, dead even with Bob Barr and Mike Gravel gets knocked out. Me and Barr are left with one 20-year activist. I give my delegates to Bob Barr. He is handed the nomination for President of the United States because of a Vegas oddsmakers delegates, and he agrees to make me his vice presidential nominee. The audience ratifies it, and I wind up a vice presidential candidate. Is that a story? So now the funny part of the punchline, though, is that third-party vice presidential nominees, well, it's nice to put on your resume for the rest of your life that you ran for vice president of the United States. The reality is no third-party nominee has ever been called by the media after that, right? Third-party vice president, right? You're as busy as a Maytag repairman. And so I decided I'd be relentless and I would turn it into something that no other third-party VP nominee ever had. And over the next 5 months, whereas past libertarian vice presidential nominees had never gotten one call from the media, I had over 1,000 media interviews. Wound up getting interviewed, again, because I was relentless and called them 50 times. Got interviewed by Fox. Neil Cavuto decided he liked me, and he had me on 6 times before the election. And the next thing you know, I'm a Fox News personality. In the last year, I've been on Fox 50 times. Fox News, Fox Business, and now I'm a regular on 9 radio shows, and I'm negotiating for my own nationally syndicated radio show, and I'm a best-selling author. My book went to #1 on Amazon, The Conscience of a Libertarian. My life changed because I was relentless, and I took a platform, third-party VP, that no one else ever cared about in history. No media cared, no partisan politicians cared, and I turned it into a marketing vehicle that would make me well known enough that someday I could actually be a credible candidate for President of the United States, and it worked. But the answer, once again, is to be relentless and ignore the limitations and ignore the critics.